squad, I'm gonna get mine. Go through the crowd and do the time. Don't tell me how you all be down. When you smile in my face, but you play me like a clown. It's your fool, bitch. So just step back. I'm mad that when I come down straight. I thought you were my piece, but you play me out. Now I'm mad as hell, and I'm full of doubt. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's think. Let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who wanna roll with? Let me. Let's roll. I'm back on the scene. It's time to get mean. I'm a lean revolution machine. For what people stay, they sway. 1, 2 day is good as any day. Y'all feel slightly this, let's resist. Raise your fist and pump like this. Promises all the time. Don't cross the line, but you know it's right. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's see. Let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's see. Let's roll.
From here, I can't lead this every time, and you didn't even have me unmuted right away. Monster!
How dare you? I can't do it all. I'm the host.
This is your goddamn show.
Here. I can't do it all. How dare you question my sound techniques?
They're lacking.
You're lacking. And you're whacking.
How goddamn dare you? My grandfather died of lacking.
How goddamn dare you? I'm working hard to get this show on the road and get it live. You have no idea what goes into this thing. I can't take it anymore.
I have an idea of what goes into you.
I can't take it. Stop bullying me. I'm disabled and you're bullying me. I'm disabled. Stop bullying me.
I'm disabled too, so it makes it okay.
All right, who's more disabled?
Right.
Let's have a disabled off.
Yes,
we cancel each other out.
Like I discussed with you the other week, the disabled mafia is famous. It would be a shame if your body were to become differently abled. And it's not even a threat. If anything, it's a well wish and hoping that their body stays intact. But it's a threat.
And look at Sue having her own conversation. Why don't you turn up the volume, Sue? Let's hear what you're talking about. Let's hear your conversation.
I don't know. I could be wrong, but I think I saw her helping with the end of the song. Right on down to the ha! I could be wrong. I'm going to read lips. Lefty can be an asshole.
What? I didn't see that one.
Around.
I wouldn't have put that up.
I'm trying to be in a good mood. I actually tabled because Ken couldn't make it to table with Michael at Griner and Archer and Griner Law Firm.
That was today?
For the health fair.
How was it?
And well, it wasn't like a big, huge thing, but it was interesting, I guess, because the other people were tabling and all. But I know it's a lot for Michael to get everything done, and he said he had the car packed up, and I could meet him there, and that's great. It's 20 minutes away, but then he had to go back and get something, and you can be late for this. But you can't forget to bring all the information down, all the separate little stacks of papers. Oh, look, we're doing this. And oh, look what's going on here. Oh, here's something you might be interested in. Take this, take that. Didn't have any of that. So I had the pleasure of sitting at an information table with no information. And when somebody walks up, see, it's the Coalition for Medical Marijuana shirt, broadly displayed nicely, on a thing that mimics a torso. So you see it on the table. And with a little bit of merch to sell, but no information. What do you talk about? It's like, do you have any questions? Holy crap. Now, it'd been okay. See, but I thought my position would be so easy that I could take a healthy dose of, my balm, edible, and ride that out. And that would have been fun. But, man, nature conspired against me all day to have that be. And yet, like I always say, that's not important. What's really important got there is what it is. I had one issue, and that was the Homegirl petition and getting the show on the road. And, Mike had a little bit of other information about Homegirl, but not about Patient. I wasn't all that pleased. Hey, good. Then the only thing I'm going to talk about all day with anybody is going to be Nick Scutari and this bill being blocked, which is not really what Ken would do. But then again, when you're sitting in for somebody, you get to do the show your way. So it was funny seeing Mike adjust to that, and but then in the course of hearing the conversations I did have with people, I think it came to a closer understanding. Everybody gets that. My God, what do you mean it hasn't had an informational hearing? What is it? Well, that's what. And it takes 15 seconds to get it. It's not about the information. I never used the word antithesis before, but it so perfectly fits that information for senators on S13 is the antithesis to Scutari's blockade. He doesn't want the information. That's a liability to him, not the bill being heard. You can block that. He's Senate president. Don't let it have a vote. It won't become law. I can't hear. I can't hear you, Sue.
Yeah, Sue. What are you saying, Sue?
She's on the phone. Stop doing the butt.
No, I think it's like she's
I got my hair and nails done today. I got a mani-pedi. It was great. Oh, I got so happy a mani-pedi this morning.
This is uncomfortable.
Okay, if you're going to do an imitation of Sue, you couldn't be more in left field than inaccurate. If you did that and say, I'm imitating one of everybody I would have never guessed. I'm just saying, man. Part of an imitation is you got to recognize the subject relative. I used to say, okay, I do an impersonation that everybody knows, and it's awesome.
Are we fighting here, children?
We're trying to do an impersonation on the phone.
For his child.
I heard that. I heard that. Yeah.
You heard what?
No, I heard you finally.
Oh, well, because I unmuted myself. I was on the phone.
That's what it's like. I didn't mute myself. I was pretending to be muted.
What were you talking about that was so much more important than us?
Oh, come on. That's a long list. You're just leaning in for a good punch, man. Come on. What's more important than what we talk about? Fuck, you were off your game here, or you're just having a lot of fun. I can't
I'm just having fun.
I know.
I'm having fun.
I could tell I was lying.
He can't do everything. He can't be the comedian. He can't be, he can't be the entertainer.
Well, we can start off with he can't be the comedian.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let's start there. The unfunny comedian.
Yeah.
Get it?
Anyway,
You get it?
Funny.
Anyway,
I'll interject there. I think there are definitely times where you're funny, but I think there's a lot of times where you think you're being funny and doing things that really shouldn't be done at all.
Which is funny in a different way for us, but it's sort of like being laughed at, being laughed with. Both funny to me.
Like what? Give me an example.
Laughing.
Oh, you really want me to give you an example? You really want me to give you an example? Is that what you want me to do?
Careful, because it's a round world, Bucket Man.
Yeah, he's got an evil.
I have no animosity for Lefty at all, but at the very same time, I'm going to show. I expect something of him to a certain extent, and when you're telling me that you're going to go to a town hall meeting in a burqa.
Hey, that's not me. That's my friend. That is my friend. She's a good friend of mine. Do not make fun of her.
No.
She's a good friend of mine. Do not pretend that she's me. Don't pretend that I'm her. It's not. That's not working. It's
doesn't matter if she rides in on a scooter. If she rides in on a scooter that looks like Lefty's, that doesn't make her him. Makes her with a face covered somebody else, not Lefty. Even if
because we often see me get men and women confused. So this is definitely somewhere where we can build a basis from. And I'm not talking of anything based in reality. Clearly,
I gotta say we could learn something from Nick Scutari. If you don't know how to dodge something like that, Lefty, just by saying, "Well, we've been talking about it" or something. Yes, I see it. Blah blah. We could learn from him. Art of dodging. Scooter. He could be a scooter tutor.
A scooter hooter.
He could teach people how to ignore and get away and say shit without saying shit. Muddy waters, Well, this is too hard to talk. Let me muddy it over with some adult homegrown concerns like the program. But wait.
I feel like there's a lot to be. If we're looking to say the thing without saying the thing, I think there's plenty of people in this day and age that lead right now that do that quite well. That we could take notes from if we needed to. Hi, Clean. How you doing, buddy? You got to get in touch with me. We got to get working soon. Miss you, bud. Yeah. So
my
that's
title,
that.
though, damn it. Okay. One day, I title myself. There it is. I was going to say, where'd all the titles go? Jim
what's
Miller.
up with your title there? I like it.
It's not blank. That's what it is. I said, what am I? And I just spent a day being a medical hunger advocate, no matter where the discussion might have otherwise been going. And Archer and Greener building where, Bill Caruso was out doing whatever. But it was so much fun being me. And then at the end of the day, to the people who were people making sure it went smooth and say, so what? No Bill Caruso, huh? Oh, no, he's great. The mover, the shaker, the biggest cannabis mover of 2024 industry or whatever, And they were all, yeah. And then I said, you know what? What? I got him started in that direction 25 years ago. And now it was like, what? Oh, no. When he was Congressman Andrews' chief of staff, my late wife, she had MS and a wheelchair, and we had a meeting, changed Rob Andrews' mind right in front of young Bill Caruso, who was his, and he had just had the conversation knowing we were coming, saying, why are you against this? I mean, to his boss. And then Rob Andrews stopped me a minute in, said, I got to stop you right there. I was ready for a fight. And he says, yeah, I'm going to co-sponsor the bill, Barney Frank's bill, I guess it was, on Monday. And then I'm going to, he wrote something, the whole thing. And I still had my finger up in the air because I was like listing shit, I'm behind Cheryl, like, almost trying to poke him in the chest if I could. And I realized I still had my finger in the air, like after he said that, and it got quiet. My finger is like literally up in the air. Now, so Bill Caruso, I saw that. When I told them a much shorter version of that, going on by it, I just ended it with a quick, go ahead, ask him. He'll make it even sound better than that. I tell you, he tells it better than I do. Ask him. So now they're going, hey, Bill, yeah, I said hi to Jim Miller. What, he was here? Yeah, Bill knows I don't do this shit. Not for a long time. I don't table like that, especially not there. So anyway, it's just kind of a nice, because, keeping close ties with him is going to be really advantageous this year now that we have traction. Without traction, it's hard to say what direction you're going. but he is really pretty valuable for how it appears from the other side of our table. And what I like is we don't always agree, but I understand what he's saying. And he understands what I'm saying. So it's kind of fun just to like poke him without even seeing him. Sitting around an informational table with no information.
Little poke.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, you were not too much. You were great. You complimented the whole thing. You really did. You were good. You're good. Just wait a minute. Let me mute myself.
Oh, I thought we were going to get all the dirt.
No, you're not. I am mute.
So that was so unfair.
Stop being nosy.
We were.
I do that when somebody's got an earpiece in and they're getting coffee on one side of the thing, one, I'm on the other, and they start talking. I have a conversation with them. I do.
Look, if you want to hear what other people are saying while they're talking, just do what the government does and tap their phone. Otherwise, leave it alone.
Yeah.
Hey, look who's surprising us today. It's Liz.
Hey,
Yeah.
Liz,
Yeah,
I
right.
tried the RSO in the belly button and I loved it.
Yeah. I can't hear you, though. You're muted, Liz.
You're muted, Liz.
Hold on. I can unmute you. Maybe. Let me unmute you. Can I do it? No, you have to unmute yourself there.
There we go. Hi.
There we go.
I had such a great time last time I was here. You guys are so awesome.
Well, we tend to average out over a period of time, though. so I don't know if that's going to have a graph one way or the other, you know. But you don't know. Yeah, it is. It's fun mixing pleasure with trying to get stuff done. It doesn't become too much one way or the other, you know. I'm kind of known for pulling a conversation back when it gets too far away. I feel like a border collie sometimes running after a stray, you know. Anyway, good week for you?
Yes, actually, it is. I'm making connections. I've been working on creating the content for my school community. You know, when I open the doors, I can't open the doors to an empty store. So that's what I'm working on. I created a bud tenders course that's pretty much completed for senior support specialist certification. And I created an anxiety relief sheet for cannabis and anxiety. And I'm just working on a bunch more. And I had another idea.
Yes.
I've had a few. I want to set up a place in the school community for cultivators and brands to submit their product information and label. And the reason for this is, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but say you got something at the dispensary and you put it away, and then a week later you pick it up and it's like, oh crap, what is this? You know the name, maybe it was flour that you ground and put in a jar and you stuck a label on it, and you want to see, what this strain is all about, and you go back onto their website, but they're out of the product. Well, guess what? You're pretty much out of luck because you can't get any information on what you've bought. So there needs to be a place that's easy to get to where the cultivators can just give us that information. They're doing it anyway. And this way, I think
there you go.
Cool.
Wow,
So,
that sounds like a really direct route. It's a lot more reliable, you know.
Yeah.
And I've always, that's one of the worst things about, especially when our program began in New Jersey, that you could find something you liked, and then they wouldn't have it. I mean, you'd almost have to keep a list of your choices, and then maybe call ahead of time. But even then, that's not normal for any other industry or business or
Right.
medical situation. Imagine going in and going, I got a prescription. Well, we're out of that, but here we got a generic version. It's pretty, no. So that, though, being able to go right to get the information more directly from somebody who would give it gladly, but
Mhm.
there's all the weeds in between getting it done and why somebody would say, according to, so
Mhm.
good for you if you can wander a path through that. That's a path others can follow. That's awesome.
Yeah, because it's happened to me on more than one occasion. So I think everybody needs it.
Yeah.
And something else that I don't know why I didn't see this sooner. The dispensaries, when they were medical dispensaries back in the day, they carried high CBD strains like Canasu.
You did.
Harmony had Critical Mass CBD.
Hmm.
You don't see any high CBD strains anymore.
No, this is news to me. I don't purchase at dispensaries much if I want to have a full month supply. It doesn't blend. I'd like to. It's not like I'm making a statement. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't even get Social Security on my wife's surviving spouse getting her Social Security. It's like I don't exist, But
you gotta love the government.
This is a really good, because when somebody finds something that works, there's like a sense of relief, the whole body posture, the conversations, and then that you can't get it.
Yeah.
You almost have to start buying more when you get it, as much as you can.
And you got to stockpile it.
And that doesn't fit most anybody's budget, though. I mean, it's
no.
That I know.
Well, I will tell you this. Now, Canasu, I got back at Garden State Dispensary back in 2018.
Wow.
Yeah, and I haven't seen it in years. But what I'm going to tell you about the dispensaries, and especially Air, watch their sales. You can get an eighth of an ounce for $12.50.
Yep. Very true.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about this last time, is that I went in there on 420. Wasn't really a lot going on there, but I said to myself, all the small businesses are definitely going to plan for the 420 to be their big sale day. So I know Air's got it every other day of the week.
Yeah.
So I actually went in there and bought them pizza for 420.
Oh, that's awesome.
Is that a brand pizza? Is that Indica pizza?
What?
I thought you said you bought some pizza there.
Yeah, I brought pizza to Air Woodbridge.
I thought you said you bought it, and is that the brand of cannabis? Pizza is pizza.
No,
pizza cannabis. What
yet.
Strain is that?
I haven't seen any sort of Italian sort of strain yet. I don't think, other than like biscotti.
Yeah, biscotti.
Well, there they are.
Well, occasionally, there have been strains named that it's like, why would you name a strain that? Not for shits and grins, I would just say cat piss is at the top of the list. I mean, if you're going out to eat, there's a language difference where they have poo-poo platter. I don't hold that against them. But when you choose to name it that, and you don't speak that language, yeah. But, I guess if a name is to be remembered is kind of the goal,
Yeah.
Like, okay, space candy. I just tried some space candy. I like it. But I like the name, too, space candy. Just pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it doesn't have any hard K guttural sound to it either. Oh well, yes, I'm having a good time. It's funny. I didn't consume any inhalables really till I don't know about 25, 30 minutes ago today because of going and tabling. You know, I keep everything up to date with edibles, and I do keep things in a lot straighter line logic. You know, doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But then for the drive home, the same thing. Well, there's no point in doing that and then driving. I'll wait till I get home, and then I get home and get involved. And it's sort of like very rare for me. That just doesn't happen. I'm late for a lot of things, but it's not first smoke of the day. I'm never late for that. You know, I mean, it's like to me, just like if I have a beer, it's the best beer of the day. If I'm going to have two, the second one's almost not worth it. Sometimes it isn't, and the third.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah, but yeah, I wish it was easier to keep getting the same thing, but a lot in the legacy or the gray market or whatever it's called, it's the same thing. It's not like having it every time either. So, you know, basically in my case, it's somebody that knows my tastes, that gives me a call, you know, specifically, and delivers. So it's, you know, really hard to beat that. And it's at I won't be specific, but it's a pretty freaking attractive price too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'm glad. I want to see, you know, dispensaries work things out to hear is what I'm hearing. You know, I mean, able to get the price down. I don't know what it takes. I mean, if that's like, you know, getting points when you buy stuff and you cash them in, you know, that's really has a price to it. Whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's not really free. It's like buy 10 and get one free. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's 10% off those 11, you know, it's so, but that makes me curious to check that out. You know, I'd like to be able to buy at that price, you know, and
Yeah.
You would like it over at Woodbridge, Air Woodbridge Gym. There's not just because of the prices, but the vibe of the bud tenders are very much a range of people I feel like you can talk to.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
That there's also a range of bud tenders age wise too, which is a lot more approachable for some people.
Okay, well, since I'm at Mad Hatter, I'm going to do.
I was just going to say
Hatter. And you know, I'm smoking a pre-roll right now from Mad Hatter from Garden Greens, and I'm very happy with it. So if you're not happy with air, come across the street to Mad Hatter.
Listen,
Because the blunts are fatter at Mad Hatter.
Oh,
down the highway and then turn
blunts
around.
are fatter
and
when you're at the Mad Hatter.
It's not
Blunts
across
are
the street.
fatter.
Across the street's like a graveyard or something from air, but you know,
It don't matter when you're at the Mad Hatter.
And the blunts are
but the
fatter
Mad
when you're
Hatter's
at the
not a
Mad
graveyard.
Hatter.
Let's just be clear.
It globs of shatter at the Mad Hatter.
You're just saying things now.
I'm saying
Yeah,
words.
There's some
Yes,
sort of
say words. It works so well for so many people.
Oh man.
Don't matter when you're at the Mad Hatter.
So tell me, we got some UFCW representation coming on?
Yeah, we have Mike and Jake from UFCW coming to talk about their trip to Washington. I'm sure they have a lot to unload with us.
Oh
here.
yeah, well, it was fun talking to Hugh. You know,
Man. And,
Yeah, it
and
sounds
Mike's like
like
a
it.
machine. Mike is like, I mean, he remembers everything. He knows all the numbers. So any question about
I'm
numbers?
envious.
Woo! Yeah. So we got some heavy hitters tonight at 5:00.
Yeah, that's nice.
I'm
All right,
excited.
so- yeah, and so then we got what you? Okay, let's go.
We have a news story here. It's
We got Liz here. That's keeping it balanced out, man.
we have a
Thank
story about banned pesticides showing up in California's legal weed products. Legalization was supposed to solve this problem when they voted on this in 2016. An initiative that specifically called on the state to regulate pesticides in cannabis products. However, an investigation has found numerous problems plaguing the state's pesticides rules, including labs falsifying safety tests, stores selling pot contaminated with banned chemicals. Meanwhile, the state's own pot regulator, the Department of Cannabis Control, has admitted it's unable to test for pesticide contamination. Oh,
Wow.
my goodness.
and
Yeah, is right. Due to lack of transparency, consumers might never know they're consuming pesticides or other contaminants.
Well, home grow would be good because you got a better chance of knowing what's going in it when you do it yourself. So there you go.
Yep.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's another one on the laundry list of why it would be good.
Mm-hmm.
I put up top, people don't, the therapeutic value of watching a few plants grow. You can't help but almost give them names. And when you know what it's going to do for you, it's like, and I know this from other people's. I mean, I have grown, but I wasn't able to grow for Cheryl where we live, so I didn't get to do it like that. So I kind of live vicariously through others' experience on this one. But I understand that therapeutic value is kind of like people get when you know people are rooting for you, or you know people are praying for you. You have a better outcome knowing that, just knowing it. So when somebody comes in where a patient isn't allowed to do that, like happened en masse in California with Valerie and Joe Carell had it was more or less a hospice situation, which a certain amount, maybe like 200 people could stay at, and they grew cannabis together and helped other people, and it was pretty much legal till the DEA stepped in. But to me, it was like watching a massacre, seeing the pictures of the devastation on people's faces, And then, of course, when they went to leave, they were locked in because there was a bunch of people at the gates they had to drive through that wouldn't get out of their way. They weren't going to let them leave because they bypassed local police and surprised them, too, because local police would have warned them. And, that went on to me. It became clear that especially in a hospice situation or end of life situation, to watch something grow that can help you ease your burden.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how close can you feel with nature and, just whatever
the satisfaction.
Else? Yeah. So that is kind of underplayed. And for those who either don't know how or aren't physically able to, somebody is allowed to stop by and help. And nice people naturally do nice things like that when they know it's not a matter of I'm the expert. It's a matter of I do know enough to take care of everything this person knows. You get what they need, you know what to do, and they grow what they want, the kind they want. It grows itself. Somebody doesn't grow it for somebody. It grows. It's doing all the growing here. And I hate when somebody grows a business. Oh, man. You don't grow.
You start a business. You don't grow a business.
You do all sorts of things. You don't grow it. I don't want that word to be co-opted from something that's so freaking magical with cannabis.
It's not alive.
Got me going.
I'm going to grow a business and I'm going to start a plant.
There you go.
That's awesome. And Shore Grow, Tom at Shore Grow, he's real in tune with this, and is well able to know growers because it's a supply store for growing everything. It's Scott's, lawns, all sorts of stuff. But then this is where people who are growing go. I mean, it's the way it works, and information gets around like that. And if it's legal for patients to grow, there are people ready to help. And then, can you teach somebody to use what do you call it? FaceTime? Is it FaceTime on a phone? You got a phone. You go, here, look, this is the brand, honey. When you're at a store.
Yeah, you can do FaceTime.
Yeah.
You know what? Can I just intercede? I hear what you're saying. Please? Because you missed me, right? I was out. There's a book that I would love you're all getting a homework assignment. It's called Drug Use for Grown-Ups. You can order it on Amazon. It's not expensive. It's like a $14 book. It's by Dr. Carl Hart. He's a scientist, and he's like he's got a powerful argument about recreational drugs. He has no problem saying that he uses drugs himself. He talks a lot about, cannabis, about his own personal experiences, about the criminalization, about the demonization. And I think there's a lot here in this book. This is it. Let's see. Right. Yeah. See?
Drug use,
Drug-
grown-ups.
Use for grown-ups. Yeah, there it is. I knew it had to be there.
Okay. Amazon.
It's sad that I have to write that down, isn't it?
No.
Tell me about it.
No, I will. I'm gonna. I know. I'll have.
I
3 or
think we
4
have a
words.
lot of information in our brains as we get, older. And so there's just so much room we have.
Exactly. You fill it up.
Yeah.
Lord
Yeah.
knows I do.
Hi, Liz.
I
I'm
wanted
Sue. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I think you may have been on the one of the home grow meetings I was in.
Yeah, I was.
Okay.
Yeah. Probably.
Oh, well.
Liz, I wanted to. You brought this up before, and I wanted to let you know because you were talking about getting content up for your education. If you send me your Instagram, I would love to put you in as a collaborator on my recent reel I did. It's a series I do called The Bucket Man, the Bud Tender, where I pass on not only strain reviews but also cannabis practices and how to use properly. Like this week we tackled dispelling the concept of sativa and indica as black and white as it is. It being more situational use, like I said the other week, comparing it to how Adderall is prescribed to people in a certain sense, that not all indicas are going to put you out, not all sativas are going to. So I definitely implore you to check that out. And if you think it would be a good fit, I'd love to put you in as a collaborator on that.
Oh, I would love that. Yep. After I'm done, I will definitely find you. I actually wanted to get everybody's contact info so I could send more detailed info on Liz Lights Up. And now it's progressing a little more because I keep having ideas. This the expanding.
They keep coming.
Yeah,
Ideas.
they just fall out of my head.
There's a lot of like Sue was saying, we have a lot of things as we get older that we try to keep in our head, and especially in this field, especially in a field like this where there's concepts being thrown at us that we never even thought of before. I was at the Champs after party event last night in AC, and I ran into a gentleman, a board member of Sativa Cross, female. Lefty, what is her name? The board lady of Sativa Cross?
Wednesday. You met Wednesday.
Yes, Wednesday. Her and another gentleman were there, and the gentleman there, I forget his name. I was blitzed last night. But he was discussing how he is dealing with some legal issues because he runs, I guess, a cannabis church, and he was handing out pre-rolls. His church got raided, and through me talking to him about how I viewed that case altogether being more of a between the stigma and against that we're being shown against cannabis and the fact that it's a church, that's absolutely a civil rights hate crime case, without a doubt, 100%. From there, we dived into the reason why he went into the church the religion sector rather than any other sector within cannabis, and he first kind of peeled the lid back and said, at the end of the day, religion's marketing. There's a big part of it that is marketing. And I decided he essentially decided to start using that for cannabis because of all the protections it brings with it. But then he said something very interesting to me, that he had this concept for the future of all this. Once mushrooms and other things are added into the equation, and those probably unify into one dispensary area or something like that, that he saw more of an active church being developed, a religion based on, kind of psychedelics and visions and, the bigger picture and things like that. It's things like that people bring up in this industry that are always just so fascinating to me and really, really, really cool, because as a kid, I thought that stuff was like the stuff of stories, fairy tales, like, and maybe the once in a while turn of a century, changed revolution, what have you. But he was talking some that's not only awesome, but it's very probable. I can see that happening, being that we are people that are constantly searching for meaning and comfort. I can't think of anything that you other than the wine for Catholicism, but that's not really great. I can't think of anything in religion that makes you feel as comforted and as good as cannabis.
Why did he get in trouble? You're allowed to give cannabis away, right?
So, that's a stipulation that they're talking about, because apparently, because the religion aspect is involved in it, and there's also just the general. Also, he's in PA for this.
Oh,
yeah, that was another piece you forgot to mention. So,
they can't you can't gift cannabis in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I've said from the beginning that, in the regards of the infighting within the industry, that, whether we like the stance of the world before about cannabis, it being illegal or not, right now we're still playing a game, and we have to realize that we're playing a game to enter ourselves into society from once we were once illegal. And we'd be fools to not see the fact that we are currently in an environment where not only are the people that were largely suppressing that are in power, but are looking for different cuts and different things to do. And they're not talking about it right now, but it's definitely something I think we'd be stupid not to be aware of and work around, because the infighting just gives them an opportunity to get at each other, to get in that and separate it and ruin it. But like I said, in that regard, I actually forgot where I was leading with that one. Something about
you are my people.
Handing out pre-rolls in Pennsylvania, which, yes, they're not recreationally legal yet, and even then it's murky waters. But I think that the state should have definitely looked at this, what this was, which was them ending up raiding a church. It's a church, and that was just not the best way to handle that. So I think, it's not legal in Pennsylvania, but I think the fact of what they did outweighs it, but I think it puts that in contrast.
And I thought churches are supposed to be a sanctuary.
These norms that we've come to know for so many years. It's not even like I'm saying that they were directed by anyone, by the administration or anything like that. What I'm saying is that there has been a green light given to this country, an unspoken green light, whether you're Democrat, Republican, or whatever, that the person in power has things he doesn't care about and will turn a blind eye to. And I feel like that's something to worry about.
And now we have an American.
We're talking for a while
now. What's to worry about here is, I don't know if you can see, this is a sweet leaf grinder, the original grinder I got 27 years ago. You see how it's like the Coliseum wall there's, and it always had enough across here, what you're saying, and nothing there that I could put it together and still work it. And then the tooth was bent, and I tried to straighten it up, and it broke like an old person. Now it's starting to miss teeth.
I was gonna say I can tell how worn that thing is from your webcam.
Yeah, but there must be somebody that you can do repairs. I've seen like shows on TV. You can take a piece of rust and make it
absolutely.
car. I want to find somebody that could
restore
it. Yeah, restore my, because it was a gift at a normal conference, the first one I went to, and the only reason Cheryl and I hadn't gone earlier was we were all about medical, and we didn't want to be associated with, you want it for everybody too, you know. But then something happened, and it was time, so we went, and it was like, Cheryl couldn't believe how well known she was by everybody. A little sidebar, because it's about medical cannabis. She's first time doing this. Nobody met her, but everybody knew all about her. So
if you find out what it's made of, Jim, you can have it 3D printed and easily just latch it back on there.
Okay, I will. But when we got to the motel, I didn't have anything to smoke. And it was like going to be so easy, because all we did is I got off the elevator and I stood there. She goes, "Which way's our room?" And I go, "We're not going to our room quite yet." Waiting for a door to open. Oh, door opened, and we started walking down. And it was just somebody getting out. And we kind of walked in, and they looked up and, "Are you Cheryl?" And she was like, "Well, yeah, somebody walked out of a room, you know, come on in." And then she's getting it now. There's Jimmy over there, like having a big toke of a joint, and everybody's saying hello. She realized who she was then, you know, and it was really cool. So anyway, that was the coming out party, and we got a sweet leaf grinder. Oh, met Chad Berry, Chad Red. He made candies that were like too good. I mean, when I say too good, it was that you wanted more candy. You should have some without, you know, some uninfused. And then I found out how much white chocolate candy I could eat with 3 other people, Cheryl, another patient, 2 other patients on a thing, you know, we're in a motel. And man, I'll tell you, we ate like a box. I mean, a supply that would have been a heroic event. We weren't talking milligrams or anything. It was candy. And the more we ate, the funnier the night got.
Mm-hmm.
And then, "What do you want to eat?" And they go, "Oh, there's this place that has the best seafood. And plus, they'll cook it up for you, too. I mean, you'll get it." My God, this is like 2000. We spent $200 here on so much stuff.
Wow.
After eating all that candy, and that was it. But anyway, and the only reason we had the money is it was the end of a good thing in New Jersey that we did, and it wasn't actually my money; it was here, you know, and ended up spending the majority after the candy. But you know, I'm a big fan of edibles and a few tokes now. I'm trying to that's my center, you know.
Yeah.
And I worked for the first time in a long time, did a side job yesterday, and it was just like a ramp up to a shed. It was really bad, but it was, you know, even that, it's sort of is a really nice house, and it has to be like, it takes a little time, and a gate really needed to be reset. And it's a guy I do work for, and he pays me what I say, "I won't give you a price. Here's what it costs. You pay me what it's worth to you."
Mm-hmm.
And he has a habit of paying me more than I think it's worth. But anyway, it's like, yes, with the balm, and then just a toe here or there, and maybe a little more balm. I stuck it out left, right, through a whole day of, okay, I haven't done that. Do I have all my tools? You know, and I did it, and it was exhausting, and there's a physical price to pay. And it feels so good, though, you know.
Yeah.
So it was the balm that, for some reason, does it. I feel it coming. I feel it's almost like doing a dance, getting something done without too much scratch in my head, you know.
Right.
How do I tell somebody about that this is the exact opposite of what everybody thought it was all about in the beginning, you know?
Well, I actually spoke with a woman the other day. She runs Peaceful Potions, and she's in Massachusetts. And, she has brought her product to market. I believe she's in a few dispensaries up there. She has award-winning product or plants. And all she does is have salves and what she calls these bath truffles. But the great thing about the salves, they're in stick deodorant form. Yeah, they look
nice.
Really
yeah, no, that's
Wow.
good.
So, I'm going to work with her. She wants to bring it to market in New Jersey, and I think we could definitely use it. And so I'm going when I go to talk to dispensaries about, my senior school community and all of that. I'm also going to, show them her product. She has an investor. If she can get some pre-sale orders, then the investor will drop the money and she'll be able to get it in here. But it sounds like a fantastic product. Like I said, she's brought it to market without a website or anything. She did really a lot of grassroots. And she's been recognized in a lot of places. Her name is Stacy Voigt. So I'm going to be working with her, and like I said, I'm going to create a one-sheeter and take with me to the dispensaries when I talk about the senior, the Liz Lights Up.
I didn't misheard when you're going to a one-seater. I didn't.
One sheet information.
Oh, okay. I did hear you right.
Yeah, about her peaceful potion.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I get it.
And she has very bad arthritis, and she's been using it for 8 years. And
the method of application, I could just imagine, taking it off if it's a knee, just rub it on like gone. It's gone, done.
Because the big problem, well, for me, I suppose, is when using balms or salves and you put your hands in,
right,
it gets all under your nails and So
that's wasted balm.
No, I always use rubber gloves.
Yeah.
So at least I've trapped it and still can use it.
Yeah.
But it's a challenge. I think speed stick type ones would be great.
Yeah, really. Can you imagine if there was just that kind of way where it's like somebody, I got a really pen. Oh, hey, you want to try it? And you'd be talking and go, whoa, what? Something that would. So, I don't know how things get started, but it just seems like if there was one of these low risk ways, like like that little mini Morton salt shaker instead of a whole salt shaker, like if there was just like a disposable 3 or 4 shot thing, almost like, here, take one, and much like first one's free, that's the drug communities. That's what they always do. First one's free, damn it.
First time.
They get you hooked. But, you're talking about this, it would, because I see the surprise on people's face, even when it's what I make cookies out of and take fingerfuls of, that work so well. And if they have pain and they get a try of it, it's where can I get some? I mean, that quick, and that's just like not a real special deal. Somebody that's really working to make it into a product like that and takes all that into account. I don't know. I think it's on the right road to just making it easier to do. And, I saw somebody said it had nothing to do with cannabis. We were talking about, what was it? A celebration of somebody's life outing. And it was something about like this big around cylindrical and kind of a pad that you pushed it in. And it was much like that, the same thing. No mess. And Nova something, you can get it in drugstores. Like, I remember Nova because like Novocaine. I guess that's their way to get it to remember. But she swore by it, even though it had no. I was amazed when she did that. Like, look at that. Pulls it out of her purse and puts it on herself while we're talking about it. And nothing. So, I don't know. If they were different sharks, that sounds like a Shark Tank idea. Oh, wouldn't that be funny? A Shark Tank for cannabis startups. Oh, that'd be really cool.
Dank Tank.
Dank Tank. Yeah, there you go. I like that. Yeah. Well, it would work. I mean, where it was legal, should it be? Okay, where's your guest, Lefty? What's up, man?
They're here. They just got here.
Oh, they're physically there.
They're physically here.
They were. I didn't know.
Yeah, they're actually in the dispensary, I think, and now they're making their way over here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's It's always interesting.
Hey.
I like their presence
Hi,
in
guys.
New Jersey. They're awesome at committee hearings. They really are.
Yeah, it's try to clean it up a little bit. A little bit. Yes. We got Jake and Mike here. Come on over here. That's our kind of our look there. I got you next to me, or whoever wants to be next to me. I got some space here in the corner.
You should have played intro music, dude. Like the one you do at the beginning of the show. Wouldn't that be cool right now?
Oh yeah, you guys have intro music?
Lifted. You know, they come in, they sit down while the intro's going. I can see that.
Canadian.
That would be awesome.
One's WCW. Break the walls down. No, I like to break the walls down. Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Put your mic there. Sorry, you don't have a fancy one like us, but Mike and Jake from UFCW, two of the busiest men in the world lately. I can see here. You can just move this up, whatever you got to do there.
Howdy.
Let's see. I didn't check audio for you guys, so you should be all right, though. You got to just walk right into it.
Testing. Oh yeah, I can hear myself. Sounds good.
You got that mic right there, Jake.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Ooh.
All right.
How's it going?
Good, man. Great to see you guys.
Likewise.
Does this no button actually say no?
Yes.
So, Lefty, you know we've been waiting on Mike and Jake this time, and I just finished saying, "Oh, they're in studio, awesome." You know, I mean, you didn't really need intro music coming; it would have been cool. But you don't have people like guests on your show like I'm used to seeing on TV, and they walk out and say hi and have a seat and whatever. And you not only had nothing, it's like, well, okay, you can use that, Mike. And come on, man, this Jake
It's informal is what
Mike,
it's
it deserved a little bit of I'm ready, you know. But I'll tell you guys, Jake and Mike, I like to at least know something about who's on the show, so I'm not a complete doofus when they're on. I like a head start, and not always. So I know I saw something, and then I wanted to get a quick look, and then Lefty said, "Yes, Mike and Jake from State Farm." I go, "What I text back? No research necessary. I'll see you then." You know, good to see you here. This is
it's good to see you.
This will be. But Hugh was telling us a little bit about the weekend, and you could see he was just getting back, and you could see it was a lot went on, because you can tell. Because I mean, I've talked to Hugh a lot of times over a lot of years, and you could kind of tell he had it together. He had all the right answers, but it was a little more conscious effort. You know, like, yeah, it's good to be back, New Jersey for real. You know, so you guys look a little more refreshed. You know, like you've been back a little bit, and. Start like from the beginning, because one, people do watch more like, you know, either replay of this or I don't want to assume that everybody knows the connection, you know. So like take it away, you know, and we won't raise our hands. We'll just interrupt if we have a question. But
sure.
So
yeah. What the hell was that weekend like? And what were you doing there?
Really?
So
it started with traffic.
Yeah. So we were invited to represent labor at the Cannabis Unity Coalition's Unity Week of Action. So it was a whole week of events in Washington, D.C. to try to, you know, advocate for the decriminalization of cannabis on the federal level. So we were down there with 30 other organizations, NORML, Last Prisoner Project, Drug Policy Alliance,
Students for Sensible Drug Policy,
Canademics, 30 different organizations down there.
Baked by the River was there.
Yep.
So
Jesse was there. So 30 activist groups with the same shared purpose to try to advocate for the federal decriminalization of cannabis. So there was multiple events throughout the week. We had a cannabis policy summit on the first day in the MLK library. The second day, we had a press conference on the steps of the Capitol with Congresswoman Ilhan Omar and Representative Dina Titus. Thank you to them for standing with us on that real historic moment with all the groups out there. We had a series of classes where we actually learned about the slate of legislation coming up on the federal level, which I brought the packet with me today to break down for you guys.
It's interesting.
Wow.
And then the last day, we had a big freedom rally outside of the White House, where the Capitol Police shoved us out of the Lafayette Square.
What?
Yeah.
To be fair, they shoved everybody out of Lafayette Square.
Yeah. So we, the group tried to do it right. We had a permit and everything and a stage set up, and didn't matter. They still forced everyone out.
Yeah,
of the
what
park.
did they say? VIP entering or leaving the White House, and that was it. They were non-specific.
Yep.
We
And-
did see Marine One leave after that, so I have an idea.
And we also are grateful for our senators for hosting meetings with us. So we met with the offices of Senator Kim, Senator Fetterman,
Wow.
and Senator Booker's office to go over
Nice.
the slate of legislation. So thank you to them for meeting with us. Unfortunately, on the federal level, I would say that cannabis is low priority for the new administration. We got about the same odds of living on Mars as we do of getting social justice at this moment.
Is there a chance for Mars? I think?
According to Bill Nye, no.
You're saying that? No.
The science
Yeah, but
guy
it's
said
There's more of a chance for Mars than there is for cannabis right
Oh,
now.
come on, guys.
but
Well,
that's why,
and
that's,
like I
why we
said-
have, that's why we have to keep advocating on the state level and keep agitating as much as we can.
Yep.
Because we made it this far, so we're not going to give up the fight.
We don't give up.
But I did take some encouraging things back from DC for policies and new legislative ideas that we could bring up on the state level, though. So, and we're very grateful for Jason Ortiz and Last Prisoner Project.
He's
for-
amazing.
Right.
Isn't he
I know.
great?
Yeah, really.
Man.
He's on the ball for sure. I learned a lot, talking to him
You
about.
want to talk about a good organizer?
Yeah.
It's him.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
He organized last year, too.
Yes.
A rally, and it was,
Yeah.
I need to go to his next one.
And
I'd love to have you down there. It
Yeah,
was,
I need
it
to
was
go.
a great time.
and it was great meeting the guys from Last Prisoner Project. We already know Kyle pretty well, but also Dante and Deshaun, who were incarcerated for cannabis, and Last Prisoner Project helped get them out. Those guys really are the reason we have to keep fighting for this on every level, because it's a hypocrisy that there's anybody still in prison for cannabis while we have 24 legal markets throughout the country now.
And
think-
what?
Okay,
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to add on to what you were saying. I was going to say what does give me hope, though, is that Deshaun, Dante, Kyle, they are out there. They are out of prison now. And what did they collectively serve? Something like 35 years between them for nonviolent cannabis offenses.
Mhm.
So it gives me a little bit of hope to see them to be able to go out there in front of the White House, to see them running through the halls of Congress and confronting senators left and right and representatives left and right and up and down. These guys were on a mission, and their mission is to get their friends out of jail.
And you guys were just saying that, it's obvious that legalization on the federal level is very low on the administration's mind. And I was just saying this before, and I'm going to repeat this in front of you guys here. I think that while that is very true, our job, the biggest thing we have to do right now is stay together. The infighting within the industry has to stop, because here's, like I just said this before, they're not talking about doing anything with cannabis. They're not saying it, but they've also been doing and cutting a lot of things that they haven't been talking about. And if we give them an opening with bad behavior and just petty nonsense, that's not going to do anyone any good.
Agreed.
I completely agree. That's right.
So stop fighting with me, Bucket Man.
I don't fight with you. I call you out in nonsense.
Stop picking on me and bullying me. I'm disabled.
Yeah, okay. The autistic person is bullying you. Okay, cool.
Yes.
Got it. Just want to make sure we got our hats on the right head here.
Now you understand.
We can smoke in here, right?
Oh, please do. Please smoke that
All right.
fatty.
Excellent.
Yes. This is why I'm over here now. This is why, because I want to pass joints with this car. I have the little joint passing car here.
Oh, that's
That's how we pass joints to each other.
Here,
roadblock.
we get Jake's hat out of the way so we could actually utilize that.
Oh man,
That's cool.
Yes,
Don't
that's
have
why
time.
he's over there, not because he became a distraction inside the store.
I want to
Yeah,
say
that's-
sorry for my
Yeah.
sorry for my disappearance. Not often I would do that. Phone rings, and it's a guy I've been thinking about for like the last. I haven't seen him in maybe 6-7 years. He was a guy, a flaky, free, kind of cool guy, best guitar player I knew personally, and he tried to teach me playing. Got me started when I was 25, and yeah, he's not like well and shit. And I was checking the obituaries not that recently, and it's him. He's alive, and it's like headphones off. See you guys, and mute everything,
That's
but I'm
good.
calling him back. I'm just glad to know he's alive. And what I'm glad about is, at first it was like I got hurt. Oh wait, no, I can watch this later. I mean, I won't miss a word you all said. I just can't break in the middle and interrupt because it'll be a replay. But I feel like I've missed an episode of something I'm watching, and I'll catch up. But it was just weird, And the thing is, his name is George Christ, Christ, and I went, Jesus Christ, George Christ, and it was weird because in writing it would have been like, yeah. Anyway, that's pretty cool, man. That made my day right there.
Glad he's alive, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's just that I'm not good at being sociable and keeping up with people. I'm just not. I don't know. And but when it's somebody that's exact my age, and he's never really been in good health, it's sort of like I would always be there for him. It's like I'm a pack rat. He said he had like in a Section 8 thing where they'd have to come and make sure that they could get to windows. He's a pack rat, and I would help him, and I would like go in head first, and then I wouldn't see him for a year. So I've always been there when he needed me, and then I never got called, and I never bothered calling him. And he called in the middle of this, timing is everything. But I get to watch it over again,
Well, I just want to make sure I stayed for the beginning of the guest here. I do have a lot of editing from the past 2 Champs After Party days here, so I have to get to that. Gentlemen, it was good to be able to catch you guys. Keep up the good work. I'm watching you guys on Instagram. You guys were kicking ass that weekend, and, you guys are doing good work. I appreciate you guys. Keep fighting, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday.
Thank you, Bucket Man.
We appreciate you too, man. Thank you for everything that you're doing.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
See ya.
So listen, what else happened that you didn't talk about yet? So I can.
So we can go over the bills that we were there to.
Yes, do
for,
that.
'cause there's-
I'm gonna see the rest. This is like missing an episode. I'm gonna go back and watch the filler later. Okay.
Okay, so there was bills first for descheduling. So we already know what rescheduling means, right? That there was talk of moving it from the Controlled Substances Act Schedule 1 down to Schedule 3. Well, these bills deal with just descheduling it, taking it off
Yes.
the CSA
Yes.
altogether,
We want
which
that.
we agree is absolutely the way that they should go. So the first bill, the Cannabis Administrative and Opportunity Act, this would decriminalize cannabis by removing it from the Controlled Substances Act. This would remove criminal penalties for cannabis manufacturing, distribution, and possession. This act includes a process to automatically expunge records of arrests or convictions for nonviolent federal cannabis offenses, and a sentence modification program for individuals still incarcerated on cannabis-related offenses. So that's the language that I think is the gold standard for social justice, which is expungement should be automatically granted without the applicant needing to spend a dime on them or to file any paperwork or hire a lawyer. It should just be granted by virtue of the fact that cannabis is now legal. Also, the sentence modification language is good because not only do we want to release people from prison for possession or distribution of cannabis, but also let's say they got caught up with a gun charge at the same time. We believe that their sentence should be modified, down or reduced entirely, and they should be released as well because, guns and cannabis were just the nature of the beast back then, during Prohibition. So I believe that sentence modification is the right language there. And, anything to facilitate getting people out of prison as fast as possible. Additionally, this act would establish a community reinvestment program to help repair the harms caused by federal marijuana criminalization and create protections for workers in the cannabis industry. So that's why we were invited, is to advocate for the labor protections in the new federal industry. So
nice.
we were in New
And what are
Jersey.
some of those labor protections?
Glad you asked, Jake. So
Explain it to us.
So, in New Jersey, we enjoy what are called labor peace agreements in our cannabis industry. So, any standard license holder with over 10 employees has to sign a labor peace agreement with a bona fide labor organization. So that means cannabis organizers like Jake and myself are allowed to go into dispensaries and talk to the workers about organizing. And the managers and ownership have to remain neutral in this process. It also quickens the process to join a union, where if you get a majority of union authorization cards signed, it goes immediately to a card check and then contract negotiations. Whereas without labor peace agreements, you have to go through a union election process where the company can run a vicious anti-union campaign. They could hire union-busting law firms to represent them, and things can get pretty ugly. And having been through it both sides, I will say that labor peace agreements is the easy mode of organizing, whereas without one, it's like expert mode. So we were there to advocate for whenever there's a federal decriminalization bill, that labor peace agreements be included in that process. Also, we want to add labor protections for cannabis cultivators. So currently, agricultural workers are not allowed to unionize through the National Labor Relations Act.
And why aren't they allowed to?
It's it's an old, outdated, racist law. Because historically, who was doing the field labor in this country, they wanted to keep them as marginalized as possible. And unfortunately, this is still how it's written on the books. And so...
And who's the other group? Remember, it's agriculture and...
Who else?
Like housekeepers.
Oh, yeah.
Butlers, that kind of stuff, too.
Yeah. So
because traditionally, who was that?
Mm-hmm. So we were advocating for... cannabis cultivators to be able to unionize around the country, because if everyone comes out of prison and then they go into a new field, if they go into the cannabis field and it's built on exploitation, then they're,
Did they leave prison?
Exactly. It just sets up, formerly incarcerated people to fail if they have no rights in the new industry that they're going to go into. So we want to try to build it up into a real career path, as opposed to just gig work, which is what a lot of these corporations and MSO want it to be. They want it to be like Amazon, high turnover, no one's getting
wages.
raises or increases or benefits, that just a gig instead of a real career. And as we know, it takes decades of real education to be able to grow high quality cannabis. So we're trying. So we were there talking to the staffs of our senators about this. Luckily, Jersey's a very labor-friendly state, and Senator Booker is already one of the sponsors of these bills. So, it was more of a thank you visit than, strong, having to convince him. But we did go around the halls of the Senate trying to cold call a couple of Republicans, which was interesting.
How'd that go?
As you can expect. So, turns out the country.
Was it fun for you though? I mean, to do that, like you said, as you expect. So going in what to expect. When I was in that position decades ago, I always loved it. There was nothing to lose,
Mm-hmm.
and all you needed to do is smile and make good points. It was almost like making fun of somebody and they don't know what, and then you leave. You come and you go, and you walk in. Of course, when I did, they'd say, "Are you a constituent?" And I'd say, "Hell no, I'm not even from the same side of Mississippi." But I got a letter from a constituent who says, "I would like you to talk to Jim Miller when he delivers this to you in Washington, D.C." And I would hand it to him and say, "Now I got a lot to do. If you say be on your way, let the record show you told me to be on my way, and I'll get home earlier. So, have a seat." Oh, damn. Okay. But, I always liked the ones that were even short like that. And, it's not so much Democrat, Republican, except for the fact that it is. When every time I had somebody I knew wanted to get rid of me, it was almost always a Republican. So when you're saying that, I'm going, oh, man, please tell me it was a little bit of fun for you. I mean, you had that whole thing in D.C., and you got to do that too.
Oh yeah, we had a blast. I mean,
with like, explain to me why, conversations like that are kind of fun. Good for you guys, man.
Harassing the senators more, or did you like riding on scooters more?
Definitely the scooter. Yeah.
Really?
DC. Yeah. It was nice to be in a walkable city for once. that was actually kind of set up for like scooters and bicycles and shit like that.
Oh man,
we
see, I,
rented the city scooters and we just went everywhere.
yeah,
That's
well,
fun.
I call Senator Scootari Scooter because he scoots around the issues. So I'm like going, what? I mean, only for a second, but it jarred a reflex reaction. Fucking Scooter.
However, though, talking to all the senators, the politicians, I gotta say, Mike was 100% in his element, and he's good.
Oh,
at it.
I could see
He
that.
cares,
Listen,
he gives a shit. You're good at
Yeah.
talking to those kinds of people.
I just
well,
C-SPAN's
look,
always on in the background, so it just soaked in over time.
I dropped the
Oh,
Oh,
that?
that was a good one, man. Throw a bomb on him, Jake.
that?
But
He's
hey,
just-
did you do a more subtle version of you directioning Mike in the direction he's going in anyway, and sort of like because Mike, Lefty gave you credit for exactly what you just came out here and did, man. I know how hard it is to keep everything going and flowing in ahead, facts, figures, numbers, people. You're good, bro. Man, you are. You're real good at that.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
say this. I say the same thing to my boss because he can do it with
Okay.
no preparation.
Yeah.
He gave a speech out there just like that he came up with on the fly, and I was like, "How do you order your thoughts that way? Because you forget where we park sometime, But, but, like,
Yeah, really.
when it comes to going up there and just like giving the
Yeah.
best 3 minutes I've ever heard, he
Yeah.
nails it every time. So thank you.
Yeah. Okay, listen, I can't come close to doing that. I can be good. I can leave you with an impression, but I know, Jesus, the skill level it takes, or just something I don't have, picking the right words out of that train that's coming by, seeing, and then having time to think while doing it. That's when I have reached moments like that. But you're talking about somebody like you doing it all the time, and then don't sell yourself short. And I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. It's like somehow you and Jake make a great team. Now, Jake, what you do is like recognize how good Mike does something and cause him to do it better somehow. I don't know what it is, man.
Yeah, he's like my.
But,
he's my.
worker.
Oh, you're getting a call from.
I got
Okay,
a
go
tip
take it. Go take
No,
it.
this is like very entertaining.
Yeah, he's like my emotional support animal or helper monkey.
Oh wow!
Ow. Oh.
He's like,
Yeah, you got the
So
bell.
can I ask
Very
you a
good.
question? So you're a business agent for the UFCW, right? Yes.
I'm a union organizer.
Okay, you're an organizer. Okay, I have
Yes.
done both jobs for the New York State Nurses Association, and then I went on to work in labor law. Where are you in collaborating with Teamsters? Because Teamsters is also out there, looking to grab the cannabis industry as much as they can.
So Teamsters are no longer affiliated with the AFL-CIO, and we fall under the American Federation of Labor. So we rarely collaborate with Teamsters.
Okay. Is there any kind of competition going on right now?
I wouldn't call it competition. I support the workers joining a union regardless of which one they support. I
Right.
think that ours is much more firmly established in cannabis nationwide and around the world for sure. But I'm just happy to see workers make wins.
So how many union members do you have in the cannabis industry? Do you know off the top of your head around
In New Jersey, approximately 1,500. And then
1,500? Good.
Yes.
That's really good.
Nationwide, yeah, I think we're closer to 10,000 nationwide. It's the last numbers I heard, but I can follow up with you with an exact number.
hmm
And those are just cannabis workers.
Yeah, that's just cannabis. Worldwide, UFCW has about 1.4 million members
Wow.
through
Okay.
grocery
Nice.
stores, retail, commercial.
So these numbers are growing fast, and these cannabis numbers.
Yes,
of them,
absolutely. Yeah, it's cannabis is one of the fastest growing sectors for unionizing in the
Yeah.
U.S. for sure.
Amazing.
Unfortunately, the numbers for unionizing are dwindling compared to their historical heights, where union membership used to be around 35% in America. Now it's down to about 9%. So we're definitely looking to build those numbers back up because
Why is that?
I know I would say it's a confluence of reasons. High turnover at a lot of places, lack of class consciousness across the board. We're trying to build it back up because I would say that when this country had strong unions, that's when we also had the strongest middle class. It wasn't a fairy tale that somebody could work one job and afford a house and a family, like a commonality of life here. And slowly, throughout my lifetime, we've seen that get whittled down to just bare bones subsistence level, where people are working 2 jobs and they're still unable to afford a roof over their head. And I think that that's exactly translatable to union power in this country being diminished. And if we built it back up and it was more militant, I think that workers would claw back some of those things that they've lost over the past 30 years.
Have you ever considered, or do you know of any consideration of including healthcare professionals as a momentum to organize?
Yeah, healthcare professionals. We even represent some healthcare workers, and then we also partner with SEIU on campaigns sometimes.
Okay. I'm not a fan of SEIU. I did work for them. But just how many healthcare professionals have you organized?
We actually organized.
I'm talking professionals. I'm not talking the normal SEIU gang.
What is SEIU, first of all?
Service employee.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, they typically represent healthcare workers. Like the unions are sometimes jurisdictional, and territorial. We actually organized some workers in a nursing home, and we had to give it up to SEIU because they already had a drive going there years ago. So that's an example.
We were here first.
Yeah. Yep. So there's an example.
So you had to give that up? Nah, really?
They had the right because they already had a drive going there, and I think they had unfair labor practice charges against the company pending, which was why they were able to claim jurisdiction over it. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
So that was what you said in the nursing home?
Yes.
Okay. What about so those are the paraprofessionals. So what about within the professional segment?
That was the only time I personally was involved with healthcare workers. Typically, we're dedicated cannabis organizers, so we spend the bulk of our time in New Jersey on cannabis companies.
Okay. So would you like to throw that out there as a potential?
Organizing healthcare workers? Absolutely. Yeah. And our line is open to any healthcare workers that are out there right now that may need assistance in organizing a union. Absolutely. We would help them.
Okay. All right. I'll be in touch.
Perfect. Thank you.
Do you have a number you could give me?
Yeah, absolutely. I got my card right here. I can put it on live. Where's the pen?
Oh, let's see.
Got the hard can.
Oh, if you hand that to her somehow, I'm going to freak out.
QR code. This is great. QR code live.
Here, I'll grab it.
Oh, wait.
I can't see that.
Give it to me.
Can't you just take a picture of it and text it to me? At Lefty,
really?
it's
Oh, yeah,
dark.
like-
This is the
Yeah.
lowest. This is the lowest high tech I've ever seen.
I'll get it to
Hold
you.
on.
So.
I'm gonna try
Okay.
something else.
Thanks.
Hold on. That's something different.
Really,
It's funny.
that's something a much older man would do. By the way.
Who is
really?
DS? By the way? Who's DS? I want to know who DS is.
Is it pouring?
Ah, this has been a.
Oh my God, the sky is falling out here. Take a picture of it and text it to me.
Hold on.
Can you
Hold
do
on.
that?
Let me try this. Hold it up there. Don't get rid of it.
With the-
No, I don't want that side.
I do. I want to see. I want to see.
I want the other side.
wait, just a second. Just a second. I've never done this before. Come on. I'm just talking about old people and I get to do this. Okay. Oh, all right. Got you.
Did it work?
QR codes, man. They rock.
Yeah, that's what I want. That side.
Yes, they do. My business card has a QR code of that takes you to a YouTube video about me introducing the business.
I was surprised. three
That's
times
cool.
today
Very.
that somebody where I was, which was a law office health fair, which included cannabis information, that didn't know what a QR code was. Didn't know.
Wow.
And I don't know what to say because I'm the dumbest one of any bunch on that. I am. I get it. I mean, I'll get informed. I learn. But then it was, Yeah. So
We
anyway,
actually had-
I wanted to work.
We had an organizing drive where workers were getting in trouble simply for speaking to us. So we made a giant QR code and stood across the street holding it above our heads so the workers could just scan it without actually having to come into contact with us and it went directly signing the union
Yeah.
cards.
That's great.
That's
That
actually my,
was- that's yeah. I
that's
like
my
that.
picture on LinkedIn. I'm holding up a giant QR code. That's what that's.
Oh man,
Yeah,
that is
So I thought that was
good.
clever.
that is good.
Well, my QR code goes to the petition demanding Senator Scutari allow S1393 be heard. So anyway, it's not like it's getting. I'm not pushing a drive for it or anything. It's meandering as it does. But I get a kick out of all people doing that. Me, this is. I am so low tech. I am a tech dinosaur, but when I'm sitting at a law office with a QR code that I put up there and they don't know what it is, I'm like, okay, don't look surprised, Jim. Don't look like you're going to laugh. I'm actually like watching, monitoring my own facial expressions because I didn't get it. Maybe it was me. Usually when I don't get it, it's on my end. But this one, I don't know.
I think that
Now,
might
before
be
we
our
get to
kid on the bottom
bef-
here.
Before we get to this,
Yeah.
I want to talk about that. Who is DS on here?
That may be our guest, Dave Cilio.
Oh,
That is correct.
hey.
Oh,
You see him?
Oh yeah.
there he is.
Peace.
Hi,
Hey.
Dave.
Hey guys, how's everybody?
Hey.
Good. How are you?
Good. That was interesting conversation. That was awesome. The first gentleman that was speaking, is that somebody that works for one of our representatives? I missed that.
Oh no, I work for a labor union called the United Food
Oh,
and Criminal
gotcha.
Workers.
And you banged on some doors in Washington, D.C., did you?
Yeah, we were invited to Lobby Day with the Last Prisoner Project and the Cannabis Unity Coalition. So we set up meetings with our senators and we cold calls some Republicans to try to advocate for federal decriminalization.
Yeah. Well, I'm from New Jersey, and I've had some contact with Booker in the future, in the past, and hopefully in the future. But I'm here because Sue Rosen gets me fired up, and she's asked me to be on, and she's like a teacher. She's like a parent. Like I've been asking her to talk with me for about 2 weeks before the stuff, and she keeps refusing because she's like, "You just get off that diving board, kid." So meeting Sue for the first time in person. And thank you for inviting me. What can this 68-year-old grandfather enlighten you with?
Probably lots.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Give us a.
Yeah, Dave, do your thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 66 does it.
Because I become an activist. Always been. I'm really. So I call senators and Congress people from all over the country, and I say, I am a constituent because you're making really stupid decisions that are affecting my children, my grandchildren. Because I fear for the future of my grandchildren. I'm going off topic here, actually, maybe. That's what I'm about now. Sue gets me fired up. But let's get back to, I'm blessed. I was a pre-med major in 1975, and the best grade I got was a withdrawal, which I worked really hard for that withdrawal. And I joined the service to figure out, and I got out, became a nurse, and I've been a nurse and nurse practitioner forever, and I'm in clinical research. I did pain medicine for about a year.
That it's at MS-13.
I did a pain job for about a year, and they were just getting into it. Was a pretty gross job, as I think I told Sue, because it was just all about the profit. Academic trained guys. I thought I was going to save the world, and it was just horrible. It was a horrible job. Maybe discussion at another time. But we started. That New Jersey was getting into medical marijuana, and I kind of got into the literature. And I was going to get the certification in New Jersey, and this may have changed, right? Nurse practitioners could not prescribe it. We could refer. I don't know if that's still the case.
It's still the case.
But it has promise, and I'm driving, so I'm sorry I can't look at my notes. It's still the case? Yeah. I did a deep dive on the latest cannabis. I'm involved in a couple of big, large clinical trials, both in Alzheimer and cardiovascular diseases. But I could just sit here intelligently and tell you where cannabis is definitely beneficial, helps outcomes. But I actually did a deep dive to look at the latest science, and I did not get a chance to review those papers, because when I wouldn't have looked otherwise, but asked to be on here, I like to just see, because that's what I do now. What's the latest science? What's the latest evidence base? I think Sue did send me something, and I didn't get a chance, or she sent me to a website that I didn't get a chance to review yet. So that's kind of my story. I look forward to contributing in the future. So I open for any questions or comments. But my real push now is activism. I moved 10 miles south from where I had a Democratic congressman who was okay, but didn't really do the job. And I just inherited Jeff Van Drew. So I know Steve Sweeney very well. I've known Steve Sweeney for probably close to 40 years. I moved to an active adult community, so I'm trying to put together to have all the candidates for governor. So Sweeney's pseudo accepted. I've reached out to Mikey Sherrill and Gottheimer. But my mission is to get Jeff Van Drew unseated. I had a phone call with him a couple weeks ago. I can tell you about that later. That was very interesting. And yeah, that's my mission, to get him ousted. And I found out that local politics, they don't really care about regional and national politics. I'm very disappointed. So I'm actually working with the state committee now to try to get some things done down here in the South. Okay, please, I'll come up for air.
What did Jeff Van Drew say to you?
So I've memorialized a lot of these phone calls, audio recordings. So I had been emailing him a lot. I kind of been, beating him up on the issues. No threats, no disrespect, really. I guess depends on how you interpret that. And tried to get a call with him forever. And I finally got a call. I had a bullet point list. And he was in a hurry. He was in the car. I was trying to be respectful of his time. I kind of slam dunked through my list, so I didn't really get my message across. But the first thing out of his mouth after I came up for air on that conversation was, "Oh, I'll tell you, if I could have my constituents, I sit on the House, I'm blocking on the committee. If I could have my constituents sit there with me and the FISA and read the FISA stuff, like right out of the blocks, this is what he gives me." So then he starts telling me how he chooses to raise his kids and he doesn't choose to have the transgender conversation. So he automatically, whether I had mentioned in an email before, automatically tagged me with all the talking points of, well, it's bad to be a liberal or a Democrat or whatever. So the most precious thing is, he said to me, he goes, I read the emails you send me. I read what you said about me and the president. And he said it kind of nicely, but he says, and I tell him everything my constituents say. It's like, it was a blatant threat. It didn't move me one bit. Our income tax, by the way, just came 2 nights ago, about 3-4 weeks late, and I thought, that SOB got me. But we got our income tax return. And this was so blatant. So I serially call his office about serious things. Every time Secretary Nutjob makes another HHS move, I'm on the phone. I've been on the phone with Bill Cassidy's office. In fact, they hung up on me. I called back. They finally picked up after about 4 attempts, and Bill Cassidy got on the phone. I have that recorded. So this seems to be somewhat humorous, maybe, but I am, so this is my mission. Get Jeff Andrew ousted. Mullica Hill, where we moved to, is probably purple, but you don't have to go that far to Woodstown. I'm sure you guys know South Jersey, where it gets real red, and Jeff Andrew kind of owned that area all the way down the shore. So I'm trying to find some recruit. If you know anybody, I'm talking to he's not got back to me. The mayor of Woodstown apparently is independent, like just such a reasonable guy. And I think if we got real heavy in that Northern District 2 area, we could maybe knock this guy out. So that's my mission aside from my day work, enjoying music and ranting after Sue Rosen posts something.
So you can do all that and still enjoy music, but that's like, yes, really good with that. But you say you have a recording of you calling back, and he gets on the phone, and I'm just saying, I don't know the logistics of it, but I can't imagine anything would be much more help for somebody to understand. You mean you can just do that? Yes. As much as you talk about it to people you talk with, and as much as you type about it on Facebook, you can call. And then you can call back. I mean, it's like you don't want to become a stalker or an annoyer, but the fact you did call back, you did make a second call, it didn't take you long, and it worked. Yeah. That's the self-fulfilling prophecy. Other people are, that'll never happen. They never do it. It never happens. You didn't buy it, and it happened. I applaud you.
I have to say that every staff member I've ever talked to, nobody's hung up on me. Nobody said, "Screw you, dude, you're from New Jersey." Everybody stayed on. Some calls have gotten testy. But one of the biggest, well, first of all, a lot of the folks don't know this is, hey, did you hear so-and-so voted for this today? Oh, no, we really didn't hear. So I don't know whether they're just completely ignorant. But in Van Drew's office, there's a guy who calls himself Jim, tells me blatantly these three things. We got the conversation. He told me that fluoride's toxic. And by the way, do you know what Jeff Van Drew did for a living? He was a dentist. He's a retired dentist. Jim in his office told me fluoride was toxic to children. He told me that there's evidence out that together combined Lewinsky, Biden, and Fauci conspired to hide evidence about hydrochloroquine during the COVID epidemic. Hydroxychloroquine, thank you. And then he told me some other things. So I said, could you share me the papers? And he's yet to share me the papers, and I've continued to call back, and it's like, it's just, it's nauseous on my part if I call back again and say, because I'm never getting this stuff. So, yeah. So I took the memorializing these, right? Because in New Jersey, it only has to be a one-party state. So I've interpreted when I Googled that. And that's what I've done. And, I've actually was texting with Sue and on LinkedIn, and open invite to this group. I imagine doing a little bit of a podcast and looking at the issues and kind of discussing that. So maybe something we can all talk about in the future. I'm kind of a techie. I'm old, but I'm a techie. So.
Yeah, I think you could fill up a podcast pretty good with everything I'm hearing right now. Yeah. You really should do that. I think you'd be probably pretty good at it. And there's a lot. You would not cover the same ground twice either. Yeah. I mean, I look at taking the things every day, and addressing. This is what happened today. Like when you get these messages back from the assistants in the office, like they're trying to sell you the same thing that they sell to people that are buying it. And boy, oh boy, I don't know. I could go on forever. I won't. I want to be respectful of everybody's time here. But thank you so much for letting me vent and learning that Sue Rosen is not only an avatar. Good one, man. Good sense of humor on top of all that, man. I'm glad you
I told Sue my only cannabis experience I could talk about today would be all the marches I spent at the Beacon Theater at Allman Brothers show. So maybe for another time when after I retire, we can talk about that. So.
And you know, it's nice that you were waiting for call in and hearing what was going on, which was like, this has been a very good podcast with a turn that wasn't really a turn, you know. And this is like, I don't know that I've learned more in one podcast, and I even had to get off because the guy called me. I thought it was dead, maybe, and you know what the hell. This has been quite a thing, you know.
Well, it didn't. Listen, it didn't open in LinkedIn, right? It did. The LinkedIn thing didn't open in Google Chrome. I had to cut and paste it. Fortunately, I was in bumper to bumper traffic on 95. I was able to do the thumb thing and get it over into Explorer. So all good. Arthritic thumbs at all.
Okay, yeah, arthritic thumbs of a guy your age in traffic like that, using your thumbs like that. I will never stand next to a guy like you because I am the dinosaur that I should be.
Yeah,
you aren't, which means you're gonna make me look bad, bro. You know?
All right, we'll talk about that.
You know?
We'll talk about that live sometime. Okay.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I enjoy it. You know,
Dave, we'll talk about a podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
I think we need to. Everybody knows who we are. That we kind of support. You know, we do. We support each other in anything that we're into. And I think we could do that. That would be fun. You know,
yeah, definitely. We need to call people out, and we need to raise awareness here. So, or continue. You guys have done that. That's for sure. Continue. So, and when I get on the little bit, I did hear about the cannabis industry was very interesting. And having traveled the country, by the way, the complexion of cannabis businesses are quite different across the country. It's quite amazing.
Yeah.
I don't want to ding New Jersey, but New Jersey's are too much like Starbucks. They're cookie cutter. Sorry.
Yeah, and they're expensive.
They are very expensive.
Yeah, I'll go get like 4 cups of coffee somewhere at 7-Eleven where they give people my age $1 coffee. Thank you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, me too. So,
all right. Well, good for calling in, man. Don't be a stranger.
Thanks. Thank you, Sue. Good to talk to you. I hope to catch up with everybody.
Okay,
Yes.
Dave, you and I will catch up tomorrow, okay?
What's that?
You and I will catch up tomorrow, okay?
I look forward to it. See you guys. Everyone have a great weekend.
Yeah, man.
Bye-bye. See you. Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Wow.
I want to pivot the conversation.
He was cool.
Nothing to do with medical cannabis. Well, maybe it will. Maybe it will.
Sure it will.
But we had a conversation one day about wrestling.
Okay.
And how wrestling used to be real.
Yes.
And this just blew my mind when we were talking about this. How was wrestling ever real? And when was this? When wrestling was real? How was it real?
Thumbtack matches.
No. I know I'm so happy we get to talk about this.
I know this is great.
So back in
want
the
to
day,
talk about this? Wait. Can I just interrupt for 1 minute and then you can go ahead?
Yep. This might take a while. Go ahead.
I have a cousin that was married to Hulk Hogan, so it was never real.
Okay, Hulk Hogan. Everybody hear of Bruno Sammartino? Oh, wait a minute. Golden Boy Arnie Skolvin. My grandmother loved
That's before my
derby,
time.
and she loved wrestling. So I'm
with you, Liz.
It's going to be 73. I'm talking about Golden Boy Arnie Skolvin. You know, and it's not like it was wrestling. I've also seen NCAA wrestling, you know, and it's like kind of different stuff. But the thing is, it's kind of like becomes some sort of, I say with a smile, a mutant art form that I recognize what it takes to do what they do, you know. And while it looks almost slapstick at times or put on, it's like when you combine the physicality of what they do, the physicality, the pain is really real if it's not a real wrestling. So I don't know what to think about it. I like it, but what were you going to say anyway? You know?
Okay. So, obviously, like, all the modern wrestling, WWE, is all predetermined and fixed and everything. But we're talking about the era before that, when wrestling was basically for carnival strongman. And, you know, they would get together at like basically an oddities or a freak show type of, you know, scenario. And they would have predetermined matches most of the time. But every once in a while, they would have what was called a shoot. So A shoot was a real legitimate fight against a local tough guy who wanted to go in the ring and try his luck against the professional. And these were real fights that these guys had, and they knew a bunch of dirty tricks to win these fights easily against these guys, but that's where the phrase working and shooting in wrestling terminology comes from. So a work was yes. Yep. So a work is a predetermined, fixed fight, which is most wrestling, but a shoot was a real legitimate fight. And in the early days, your champion was expected to be able to win every one of those fights against the local drunk. Yeah. Or any challenger who came up, you're expected to beat them or they wouldn't give you the belt. So back in that time, wrestling was very, occasionally very real. Over time, it's become sports entertainment, and it's not to say that those guys don't do great damage to their bodies, because they do.
Sure.
And I think they should be unionizing as well. I think that now with Vince out of the picture,
they tried that.
Yeah, they tried numerous times over the years, and Hulk Hogan union busted against Jesse Ventura,
and he's still actively talking.
Yeah, but I don't somehow union busting and people like that. Who's gonna? I mean, who does the busting when it's the people who fight for real? It's not like I want to physically convince them to do something. What the hell? That's an odd dynamic, but. I'm always not surprised at what I can find on YouTube. And I want to find, there's got to be some old videos somewhere of one of those real fights, because that's a real fight. I give you that. It's like calling it, and, you see it in more controlled settings. But I love the barnstorming around stuff like that, and that would happen with baseball teams too. And, or wrestling a bear or something. But
what year? What year are we talking about?
Pretty much before the golden age of TV. So 20s, 30s, 40s, the golden age of wrestling. That's considered. And
that's the strongman stuff.
Yes, yeah. So before or during the territory. So
that's a different world there. Yeah.
Up until the modern era of your main guy being able to take on all comers. And some even to this day, some works turn into shoots on the spot, and they really actually fight. There's tons of.
I would think so. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, you could look up on YouTube tons of examples of these guys actually really trying to fight.
All right, now I have an idea. Since we're on the topic of wrestling,
here we go.
How about Lefty and Mike? You guys got to wrestle in the pit over there. I'll announce it. It'll be crazy.
Well, are we working or are we shooting?
You're shooting. Yeah, because Lefty's going to kick your ass.
Yes.
I'll have my wheelchair, so.
Yes.
You're going to fight El Rampador, not me.
Right. Yeah, he is a pro wrestler.
Yeah. So. Well, then he'll have a helmet on that you won't be able to gouge,
Speaking of El Rampador, how's everything going up in
but I'll tell you what. Hey, if that happens and you say take your helmet off, if you do that, he'll take it off and it'll be a nasty thing underneath it about you, and he'll say, "You told me to take it off."
You can't take a luchador's mask on.
No,
it's a very serious thing. Only they can take it off. Yeah.
Okay, when he'll do it at a council meeting, he'll certainly do it in that situation. That was awesome, man. Oh, wow.
If there's any pro wrestlers listening, please reach out to form a union before it's too late. So,
why hasn't your friend done it yet?
He's on an indie circuit. I don't even want to mention it in case I get him in trouble. He's on it. The indie league that he works for is basically like being in a punk band. There's no paperwork to prove that you're doing any of this. Like, there's no,
It is pretty fucking cool, though.
Yeah.
The light bulb smashing and stuff. Is that the?
He's not a deathmatch wrestler. Okay. He thinks that gimmick is silly and too dangerous, and it's not worth the $250.
Really? So so there's a split between. There's a vision. So some wrestlers like the smashing of the, and some don't.
That's right. Yeah.
The more serious wrestlers.
They're called deathmatch wrestlers.
Deathmatch.
And that's an art form unto itself. That some wrestlers just specialize in that form. Other wrestlers don't think it's worth $250 to lacerate yourself.
Isn't that dangerous?
Oh, crazy dangerous. There's been wrestlers that almost bled out. David Arquette famously got his jugular slapped.
Yeah, I remember that.
And almost bled out right in the ring. Against the guy from Jersey, by the way. Shout out Nick Cage.
Go Jersey. And then basically
I would think there's a lot of those people, the shooters, that would have what I call the Riley Cote mentality. enforcer on the Philadelphia Flyers for a while, who not only did Lefty have on as a guest on the podcast, but Sue and I got to meet at a Patients Out of Time conference in Jersey City. And it was all about, he's like, look, if I could score 100 goals or 50, so I'd be doing it, but I can't. I get paid to play with my face. He's the enforcer. And, you know, it was then as soon as he lost weight because he had to have the weight. But all along the way, cannabis, you know, played a part. And then he's going on that way. He, you know, had a business concern of sort of low key, but I found him to be extremely interesting. And can you imagine stories from lots of people like that? You know, it played a part back then. See how I turned it back to cannabis just for a second? Come on.
Well, we can further turn it back to
I got a
cannabis.
reputation to uphold. I did that on purpose. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. What are these guys going to need though after their careers? After they're all, you know, beaten and
Exactly.
bloody, in pain all the time, and the women wrestlers too.
But why not? And even during their careers, who was it that got was it Hector Macho Camacho that had a title stripped or whatever because he tested positive for cannabis? And I'm thinking, wait a minute, are you saying that gives him an advantage? Shouldn't you be saying, well, he gets an extra medal and a little more money because he had a anchor, you know? But the idea that would be, I thought that set a bad example for the kids, you know?
The children.
Kind of like, you know, yeah, what about them? It's sort of like, anyway, it's, so that's going to keep going on though. I don't know. Don't mind me. I'm actually had some pain from left over from working hard like I used to, only because it felt good because I had plenty of edibles and smokables, and as a guy I knew and nobody was around, so it worked. But then I also to go out and table at for CMMJ at Archer and Griner law firm where Bill Caruso, of course, is their guy, and
we love
so
Bill.
I felt like yes, I should go sit there. But then even sitting, everything's seized up, so I can testify all over again for the umpteenth time that I'm not feeling my feet don't hurt right now. My head's in a good spot. It's because of that and only that, you know. Oh, edible, little smoke. So that's it. I'm going on record. I'm not afraid to come out and say it. You know, no, it's still there's people that are a little bit afraid to speak up because, you know, like somebody might find out, you know. I always had fun with Kathy because she's, we're going to be ready real soon because she would hang around. She was there when Homegirl got pulled out in that assembly meeting. You know, I mean, this is like we were just getting to know each other back then. And so went to my neck of the woods, which was that amazing, you know, day. But as far as being a teacher, it's like there's a lot of pictures with her like this, you know. I like the one we were in New York. I forget where it was, Washington Square Park maybe. And I got a picture with Ken Walski, Kathy, me, and somebody else. And she has like this balloon, like right in front of her face. It was like a flower-looking balloon. So I'm making fun still, and she's here taking it right now, you know. But now, see, there's no need to do that one because she's retired. But it's a whole different world now, you know. And I don't know. I feel a lot of traction though, even with, you know, what we're doing with Homegirl for Patients, which normally wouldn't have any right to, but there is traction, and it's weird because it was when Senator Vitelli co-sponsored the bill that he hadn't co-sponsored for 4 years that he wasn't allowed to post for an informational hearing that he never co-sponsored while he was being denied.
Yeah,
we have some breaking news.
Yeah, he put it in.
Oh, yeah.
News.
We got breaking news here. Robert Auth, he has a bill legalizing possession of 6 or fewer cannabis plants, subject to enactment. Blah 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 blah. Well,
come on.
It was introduced and it was withdrawn this week. The bill was withdrawn by who?
It didn't specify.
Didn't
It just
specify,
said
but we
that-
know who.
We could take.
We could take a
We
guess.
could take a guess. We know who.
So
That just came
the home
through?
grow that I got this in my email this morning that the home grow bill was withdrawn by the state Senate.
Robert Auth, is he the same Robert Auth that didn't want PTSD to be included as an
I think so.
indication in 2016? I believe he was.
Yeah, he is.
I
Yeah,
know that.
so how do we reconcile that? See, I'm missing a piece of the puzzle.
We get voted out.
I think it wasn't a bill that was ever meant to get co-sponsors or anything. It's a statement bill. It's a way of saying something, and then I feel I'm missing a piece of the puzzle, and but I can be informed. It's just I know how it makes me feel, but that doesn't cloud my field vision and sound judgment when I'm learning something that's antithetical to my normal way of thinking. There, I just used that word again properly. So anyway, that's interesting, though. It's more to try to figure out. But then, wouldn't he be the one to ask? Why is this? I mean, in other words, if that's all true, just a question, because there's a path from one to the other,
Hey.
and if it can't be talked about, then I'm missing something. I really am.
Let's call his office. Should
Oh,
they open?
yeah, I was just going to say
Are they
that.
open?
I don't know. It's 6:16. They might.
Oh no, yeah, no way. They're 9 to 5ers.
They might even
Yeah,
be.
I'm on a tight dinner leash too. It's one of these dinners where it tastes better when you get it like right on time, and I'm getting the call. So
I got to figure out what I'm doing for dinner.
I'm gonna go to Freddy's
Me
Steak Burger.
too.
You ever go to Freddy's Steak Burgers? It's
No.
up here. They have a prime rib burger
Nice.
and tater tots.
Oh hell yeah!
That's like up your alley.
I do love.
They have
tater tots.
shakes. It's the best. I just
hey, listen, yeah, that was seriously
Goodness.
a solid. I don't generally lean in as much as I was. Yeah, you really it fits so well. I don't know how to say it. It's like I'm very impressed in the fact that, yeah, it's like the Houdini himself, although it's a bad analogy, Hugh. It's just nice to have both of you weigh in one after the other, and with you guys, obviously, okay, I got my thoughts collected because, how you got to take in stuff for a whole week there, and then the next day you're taking in new stuff, but you're still assimilating that. That's a lot, and I forget real easy. So, Mike, I can't hang around with you talking about stuff because I'll be stumbling over my words, and you'll be
Even when he's all dabbed up. On
dude,
top
seriously.
Of
and and then a guest to hop in who's sort of got me invigorated all over again. So this has been stellar, man. You guys definitely inspire me, both of you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
You too. I mean, you were doing this. Are we-
Yeah, well, yeah.
are we calling? Oh my god.
I never had the command that I'm seeing here. I see
Thank you for
videos
calling
of
the Legislative Office of Assemblyman Bob Oss.
Oh.
Unfortunately, we're not here to take your call.
Oh, I get to
Please
leave a message.
brief message with your contact information, and someone from the staff will be in touch shortly. Thank you.
After leaving a message, you can hang up or press
Jim, will you
pound
take
for
the lead on this,
more
Jim? Yes, sir. This is Lefty Grimes. My number is 908-616-0682. I'd like to talk to you about the bill that was withdrawn from, what was it called? Why was it withdrawn? I'd like to know why it was withdrawn and who withdrew it. Yeah, A414, Bill A414 was withdrawn. We'd like to know why. It's a very important thing, especially for patients, medical patients. And this is for everybody, though, right?
Yeah, this was the rec bill.
Yeah, this is for everybody. But even so, it still helps patients because we're waiting for a hearing on medical cannabis, home grow. We can't even get a hearing.
good enough.
Who's this? Is it?
Oh, it might be the office.
They might be calling me back. Watch this. Hello. Hello, can
It's Anna for the National Breast Cancer Committee PAC. I'll be switching to pre-recorded audio. Is that okay?
Just hang up.
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
Please.
National Breast Cancer Committee.
Hang up.
They hung up. They were trolling.
They hung up. They were trolling. They hung up. They were trolling. They hung up. They were trolling.
Oh no!
I think it's kicking in.
Fire beat.
Those the mushrooms just kicked in. Everybody.
Whoa.
Well, you know, Lefty, that was for your spur of the moment phone calls. Really as good as it ever gets. I appreciate you making the effort once you had it on to be kind of like that. I think you did pretty good. I know I went once you got started, and then they cut you off at just the right place because it was all well known. It's like, what is that thing? Is it a lawyer or a judge that says to lawyers, when you've won your case, shut the fuck up? You know, I'm just saying a little bit of that now and then goes a long way too, though. You know, so, but they did that part. And I got to tell you, after, I'm sorry, Sue, who was it that was just on before?
Dave.
What's his name? Nagar? Yeah, I was really impressed, you know. But it's funny. It's funny because after hearing him say that, it would have been funny, you know, and it was like a nice try, but it's not a question that shouldn't be asked, you know, because the bill itself is something. Yes, that would be fine. But, you know, when Jim DeMaio stood up during Jake's Law, said the only reason I'm voting for it is because it's going to do a whole lot of good. But I strongly object because it maintains the sales tax on medical marijuana. And I have a bill to rescind the sales tax on medical marijuana. Thank you for your time. And then he left. So it had no co-sponsor. It's not even the guy who is in the same office as him. And that speaks for itself. So, you know, that's why I look through things through a different lens when it doesn't add up. You know, I kind of extend the net a little bit, wondering why. But I love it. And it does happen where I go, oh, I see. And I was off in a wrong direction sometimes. So, you know, I want to know if I'm on track or not. And there's ways to find out. But there's also so many other people running for governor who have such positive things to say. What do you guys think about that? That is this not an amazing time for people? They're going to have that discussion without us. I mean, you imagine that? It's not like you got to sneak up and fire off a question where they got to answer it. They're going amongst themselves a little bit already, you know? And I'm wondering how far that of an issue that becomes, because they're coming from such different directions. They could duke it out on that one subject, all 14 of them, for about 5 hours. It would be awesome. And they'd all spill each other's dirt and we'd know who's who. Come on, a guy's got to have a dream besides winning a lottery ticket, you know, or finding a benefactor to say, whatever you guys want to do, you can afford to do it. Those are two common dreams. But I'd like to just see it work itself out, like naturally. And look, this is the first time that's ever happened, you know, not trying to force the issue in. So we've come a long way, baby, on that issue. And that it's the off-year election. It is here in Virginia. Everywhere else, they're looking to here in Virginia for signs of whatever it might, you know. So really, I'm just excited. It's like a turkey shoot. They're going to come out, gobble, gobble, and take a shot, you know. But also, I'm just, as an individual, going to be kind of trying to get in contact with their campaign offices and see where they are on this. I mean, just to try to put it together real. I mean, how middle of the road can I be? And certainly not judgmental. Just trying to say it would be real nice and find ways to word, thank you all for your interest, because as you know, this is the first time this has ever happened in New Jersey where it's going to be an issue. So, you know, congratulations. Thank you all. And let's, you know, it's people are going to be taking shots and getting results, and we don't have to struggle for it so much. Just be smart about it. So I got to basically count to 5 before I think anything's a good idea, at least. and then go through it, because most of my ideas are more towards trying to push or move something, but it's already moving. So like I'm not the one to listen to really, and what might be the best way to proceed with something already got legs. So keep an eye on me, all right?
But I would encourage everybody to try to talk to the gubernatorial candidates about the issue. Well, there's 6 on the Democratic side with a wide array of opinions on it. Republicans, to put it politely, are all over the place on what they say about it. But I would definitely encourage people to try to get involved with some of the candidates and push for this during the primary phase, so we could try to influence this. I'm sorry, go ahead, Jim.
No, you touched upon something. It's the Republicans being all over the place, and it's primary time. That's where they get to be all over the place, and we get to see who says what. In other words, they can duke it out themselves, and they're going to be gentle. You know, they're not going to like go overboard, but it will be something that will happen organically. We don't have to ask or push the button. It's going to happen. It's an actual.
I agree. Yeah.
I think it's just going to be an issue that'll happen, and that's the fun part. No, it's not like somebody's, you know, what the hell gives you the right? It's good. Just sit back and watch the show a little bit now and then. And that's how
Make
I
some
feel about it.
popcorn.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean behind the scenes. I want to make sure that campaign headquarters understand what we already know, that, listen, appreciate your position on the issue, where it can be said, and that, but there are some other similar good, you know, whatever, and then see if somebody wants to add something to it, you know, or come on a podcast or something, you know.
Yeah, and I would say it's important to keep advocating for it, because I don't believe it'll come automatically.
No,
especially when we see the federal government rolling back a lot of rights that we thought were eternal and, you know, our birthright. We've seen them roll back child labor laws, abortion rights, freedom of speech, right to protest, right to assemble. So many things have been curbed back, and I think the only thing really protecting the cannabis market is the money. So it's important for us to keep advocating for the social justice, you know, aspects, and because I don't think that it's automatic that it'll come. And the Republicans have said everything from will allow unlimited home grow on your property all the way to saying, no, you're going to get the. So there's no reason to, you know, their promises. So we have to try to make our own demands and see that they get carried.
Well, you know, also we get to go, hey, did you hear what this guy said about you? You going to take that? What do you say? So-and-so. In other words, one says something about the other. No, one says something about the other, then you.
That's the whisper campaign.
Yeah. Come on.
Come on, union organizers. You know what a whisper campaign is.
Yeah, let's just go start some rumors.
Hey, listen, I do got to run, so I don't want to cut a great thing short. But
what does everybody think about Mikey Sherrill? Anybody have
I don't know.
any take on him?
I got no opinions myself yet at all.
No opinion.
Neither do I.
We got to pick, but what is her cannabis policy? I'm actually not up to date with it.
Yeah, me either.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think she said.
There is I think Jelani has an article about it, right? Who put the article out about that? All the candidates. Was it Jelani?
Well, I saw a list. I don't know where I saw it from, but where it listed so-and-so for this and so-and-so for that, they kind of, it was a general, I have no idea where I saw it, but somebody summed it up pretty, I don't think too broadly. And this one, not at all. You know, like you were saying, the degrees were all over the place, but I didn't read it in like Democrat, Republican. I didn't notice that the Republicans would be all that far around the map, and that's wonderful.
I know that the candidates are appearing on NPR soon to answer questions, and anybody can call in and ask cannabis-related questions. I know they let me on to talk to Philip about it, so anybody can just call in.
Okay, and I pulled up the page. Mickey's position on marijuana legalization is she supports home cultivation for rec and med purposes with, quote, common sense regulations, safeguards, and limits.
Ooh.
Okay.
I find zero wrong with that at the moment.
She would
it was not overboard either way. It was, wow. Okay, I'm surprised.
She would like to see it removed from Schedule 1.
And he's like, but not to where, right?
She says when marijuana is decriminalized, crime goes down, but she did not make a specific statement on Schedule 3 or decrim.
No, of course she wouldn't. Why would she box herself into a narrow goal? That's smart.
Yeah, it seems like
No, that can be explained
That's
later.
smart.
That's smart. Seriously.
Well, yeah, same thing with like the sensible safeguards and limits. Well, what does that really mean? What's a sensible safeguard?
Well, that's what gets to be discussed. Exactly that. Yeah. So that's exactly what needs to be discussed, and she's willing to discuss it. I mean, that's a good thing. All right, that's a way to ride.
How can people get in touch with you guys or the UFCW or
either through our website or Instagram or the card we showed for?
And what is the website?
What's the
what
website?
is the Instagram?
And the Instagram?
So our Instagram's UFCW360 Cannabis, or you could just go to the regular UFCW360 site, and then our website is ufcw.org, right?
That's the international UFCW360.org.
There you go.
Yeah.
UFCW360.org.
Or you could just look
There you
for
go.
us smoking weed in the parking lot.
There you go.
Yeah, honestly, pretty good bet you could just find us smoking weed in a parking lot.
Yeah. Well,
Awesome.
it's sort of like, I got to say, somebody has said more than once, going to UFCW 360, they got ashtrays inside.
Ashtrays.
Yeah, and it ain't for cigarettes, So like, there you are. Yeah.
We actually we gotta give you some gifts from our local down in DC. They gave us grinders, cone holders,
you have that
rolling
stuff?
papers.
Really?
And,
God,
I
yeah.
probably got some with me. I think
Yeah.
They gave you grinders. Let's see.
UFCW grinders.
That's
Official UFCW made in USA grinders.
Union made.
This
Union
is
made.
original sweet leaf grinder, 25 years old, the original
Nice.
original grinder. This one's missing teeth. It lost one today. I think it's gone. But I'm looking.
It's done.
Maybe I have it restored.
And just to any workers that might be out there watching, just remember, it's you that makes this industry run. Just you. The
That's right.
CEOs, yeah, they're out there making decisions, but they can't do that kind of shit without you.
Mm-hmm. Labor is entitled to all of it creates. So if you're making the magic happen, then you deserve the biggest slice of the pie. Pure and simple.
Ooh, I like it. I like that better. I get the pistol, so I get the pesos. Refreshments. Remember that song? Yeah, that seems fair. Yeah,
So thank you, Matt Hatter. We got events coming up. We have a Puff and Paint coming up on the 31st, and we have June 1st, cannabis-friendly Sunday worship. That's right. We're turning this place into Sunday worship. The things that happened here will never happen here again.
This half-Jewish man might...
Non-denominational.
Not yes, 21 and over, non-denominational.
Nice.
If we and I'm not going to say it. I'll tell you later. I'll tell you later. I can't say it here.
You got to bring your bell and ring it when somebody says something you don't like. Start ringing the bell.
I tell you what, some of the old customers want to show up for church. That's fine. Just behave yourselves.
You need to bring a super soaker.
That's what I'm going to say. You behave yourselves. This is church.
All right.
Seriously. Glass, kind of decor real quick.
Are you going to have a confessional booth?
I don't know if that's a good idea.
I got a dip, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you for having me again.
Yeah,
And
good to see you.
I'll come back.
It was nice to see you.
Nice.
Thank you.
It's great to
It was
see
nice
you.
to meet you.
And thank you.
Thanks for
Have a
having
good night, everyone.
You
Night,
too.
Liz.
Okay,
Be
bye bye.
safe.
She's great. So yeah, thank you, Mad Hatter. So June 1st, come back here for cannabis-friendly Sunday worship. That's going to be fun.
No confessional booth.
See you
Non-denominational. You can't have a confession.
You're a minister, right? Yeah. He can do it. He's ordained.
I know.
Yeah, but
I
I'm
know.
not doing it.
You could have an opposite of a confessional booth. Yeah. The opposite, where you go and then
unconfessional
you
booth.
tell somebody how you wish it would be. Here's what I wish would happen. And what was that?
Let's
my
go get
son?
some food, man. I'm starving. Steak burgers interest you? You're
I
gonna
might
love
have
them. If
to
you
do
like a
some work
burger,
for-
Are you closing? Because I'm leaving.
Yeah, me too. And I
Okay.
don't want to bug out on the
Really?
the
Oh,
reading
what
of the
time?
names and everything, but I know the list.
He's
I
not
feel
paying
like
attention to us, Jim.
Yeah,
what's
okay,
that?
I'm just
Nothing.
saying,
We're going.
I'm not going to be for the reading of the list because I know that, and it makes me feel bad in a bit to eat a good dinner. So I'm cutting on it. If that was what you're going to do,
CMMNJ.
I'm late, and I got to go.
UFCW Local 152
and 360
and 360.
We're 360. 152 actually does like the shore.
Oh, wow. So all these years.
No, not all these years. You were correct. You worked for 152.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah, at the time when that was signed.
See, Jim's still there. He's going to hang out for this list. I know he is. Arlo Glass, overmachine.com, sativacross.org. Our list begins with Cheryl, Jim's late wife. She got me into activism because I saw what she went through, and I was amazed at the endocannabinoid system. I didn't know about it till I knew Cheryl, and I was like, wow, this is different. This is something they lied to me about. Another thing that the government lied to me about. Sabina Rose, 15-month-old baby, 25-hour seizure. Do the math. That's a bad formula. 25-hour seizure. Can you imagine having a seizure for 25? I can't imagine 25 minutes.
Well, imagine the parents. That's what you mean.
They
That's
went
what you
through.
imagine. So anyway, read the list because I'm going to get going, and I'm going to try not to feel bad this time.
I
Go
hope
ahead,
you all
great.
feel like shit. This is why we're doing what we're doing here.
It makes it
I
real.
hope you all
These are-
listening feel like shit. Because these are
okay,
people
I'm
that
gonna say-
died waiting for cannabis or using cannabis, and they're not here anymore. And they're people who fought for cannabis too, like Diane Ripatella. She went to the State House. She had Lou Gehrig's disease. Gracie, Cindy May. These are children. Marie from Pennsylvania. Jack, Joan, Randy Robertson, who got the Whipple procedure before they gave him oil. Polly Connolly, Bill, Chad, Jeremy, Colette, Matt, Troy, Russ, Roger Barber fought for his daughter to use cannabis in school. Jay, Ella, Hattie, my grandma, who I used to give her a vape bag. I used to bring her a big vape bag and give it, hey, Graham, testing your breathing. And she, this is good air, Edward. She liked it after a while. She would ask for it.
Flavorful.
Yes. This is better than my Marlboros. Jackie Rickard, Anthony, Jake, Armando, Felicia, Lynn, Dan, Sean, Joyce, Lori, Frank, Brian. I'm smacking you all in the face with these names here. It's like, it is a smack in the face. It's like Flo, Carl, Thorne, Frank, Lorraine, Terry, Charlotte, Cher, Jaybird, Michael, Marley, Colette, Brendan, Red, Rico, Lou, Becky, LaWanda, Chip, Paul, Lisa, Marcus, Gary, Julia, and Jeff Oakes. And Jim stayed for the whole thing.
Yeah, well, it's been true for a lot of things.
But now you get to enjoy dinner.
Now you can have a nice dinner.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's right, and you know, the longer you do it, the more you do need to find ways to kick your own self in the ass somehow to keep plodding along. But you guys are on the ball, man. I tell you, you guys are really on the ball.
Yeah, you
That's
guys
awesome.
are amazing.
You owe us a return match sometime in the near future. All right, I'm out. Exit full screen. Leave studio.
Be safe, Jim.
Have a good one.
They shall grow not old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. I just let that hang there. See ya. Thanks, guys.